Good morning, class 7. In the previous class, we have studied about the life history of silk moth, in which we have studied how the silk moth lays the egg, then it changes into larva, then pupa, then how they come to become a silk moth again. Today we are going to discuss about the last para of page number 36. So let's continue with the last pair of page number 36. Please note that in order to produce silk, the silkworm developing inside the cocoon as pupa is not allowed to mature into an adult silk moth. When they are at the stage of developing inside the cocoon as pupa, they are not allowed to mature into a silk moth. As soon as the cocoon is formed, it is used to obtain silk fiber and the developing silkworm gets killed. And as soon as the cocoons are get mature to form a silk moth, they just killed to get the silk. This is because if the silkworm allowed to mature into silk moth, then the fully formed silk moth secretes a liquid to dissolve a part of silk of the cocoon to break it so as to come out of it fly away. As soon as it matured and became the silk moth, what happened? It secretes a liquid which dissolves a part of silk and it break down the cocoons and fly away. So that's why they are not allowed to mature when at the stage of cocoon. Understood? This breaking of cocoon causes damage to its silk thread and hence lower the quality of silk. If the silk moth just mature, it break the cocoon and damage it and its silk threads became loose or it's give the lower quality of silk to us. This is why the cocoon having developing silkworm inside them are used to obtain silk. That's why means at the stage of developing silkworm stage of the cocoon they use to obtain the silk. Some of the silkworm are however allowed to live and mature in the silk moth so that they can lay the egg to produce more silkworm. Some of them are leave to mature. Why it's leave to mature? To again gives them the egg for producing of silkworms. Silk production involves cultivation of mulberry trees and rearing of silkworm. And silk production, what it involves? It involves the mulberry trees and rearing of the silkworm. Rearing means to look after them, to take care after them by providing food or shelter. Mulberry is a small tree whose leaves are used for feeding silkworms. Mulberry is called shehtoot in Hindi. It is called shehtoot in Hindi. Sometimes you have seen also its fruit is being eaten. We will now describe how silk is actually produced. Now we are going to learn how the production of silk goes. Means production of silk. We are going to learn how the silk form from the silk moth. Let's have a look on it. In short, just now I am giving you a description how it's produced. Here I have made a short description table by which you can easily understand how the production of silk happens. Now see, how do we get fabric from silk moth? First of all, silk moth lays the eggs. What happened? First of all, silk moth lays the eggs and eggs changes into larva or silkworm. Which form it's changed? In the form of larva or silkworm by feeding on mulberry leaves. On which they feed? On the mulberry leaves. Then after molting, what happened? Then molt. They molt means shedding of their skin. Who shed their skin? Larva sheds their skin. Then it changes into cocoon. In what they change? It changes into cocoon. They spin around them. What they spin? larvae shed their skin and form the cocoon and spin around them. After that, what happened? Cocoon are used by the farmer and boiled by the farmer. Cocoon are taken away and boiled by the farmers. After that, what happened? Farmer obtains the fiber by the process of reeling. How they obtain the fiber? By boiling the cocoon, they obtain the fiber. This process is known as reeling. After reeling, what happened? They spun into a thread. After reeling, they spoon it into a thread by the process of spinning. By what process they spoon? By the process of spinning. Then after it is being twisted and dyed, at the last stage they weaved into a fabric. At last stage, what happened? They are weaved into a fabric. So this way we got the silk fabric from the silk moth. Again, just have a revision. Silk moth lays the egg, changes into larva or silkworm, and after that they fed on the mulberry leaves. They feed on the mulberry leaves. After that, what happened? This shedding of their skin, that is known as molting. Molting means shedding of their skin. Then they form cocoon. Cocoons are taken by the farmer. They boil that cocoon. After that, farmers obtain fiber by the process of reeling. After spoon into thread. Then by the process of spinning. Spoon into thread by the process of spinning. After spinning, they twist and dye in different colors which they want, and then weave into a fabric. So that are the steps that how we got the silk. These all things are given in this page, which we are going to learn in detail. In order to obtain silk, mulberry tree are cultivated. Silkworms are reared on their cocoons collected to get silk fibers. Just now I have told you what happened. Silk moth just lays the egg and mulberry trees are grown or cultivated for feeding it on them. After that, their cocoons are get collected to obtain the silk fiber. We will now describe the rearing of silkworm, processing of cocoon to obtain silk fiber, and making of silk fabric from silk fiber. Again, we will go all these process just now which I have shown you all this process in detail, how it's happened. In that, first process is rearing of silkworm to obtain cocoon. We are going to learn rearing of silkworm to obtain cocoons. How we get the cocoons? By rearing the silkworm. The female silk moth lays 100 eggs at a time. It lays hundreds eggs at a single time. So when it lays the egg, they are kept carefully on a paper strip and sold to the silkworm farmers, and then they are sold out to the silkworm farmers. Then the farmers keeps these eggs at suitable temperature and humidity under hygienic condition, means under a proper condition, neat and clean. The eggs are then warmed to a suitable temperature for hatching. Then these eggs are just put in at the suitable temperature for hatching. When they hatch, they change into larvae or caterpillars. In what they change? Larva or caterpillar comes out from the egg. The silkworm are fed cut up mulberry leaves. The silkworm eat day and night and grow big in size. Then they provided a mulberry leaves on which they feed them and eat whole day and night to grow bigger in size. After about 25 to 30 days, the silkworms stop eating and get ready to spin in cocoon. They spin a cocoon around their body. After how many days? 25 to 30 days of eating a mulberry leaves. The silkworm climb the placed near them and spin cocoon of silk fiber. Then the silkworm, what they do? They just spin a cocoon around their body, which give us silk fiber. The silkworm enclose themselves completely inside the silken cocoon in 2 or 3 days, and they spoon whole cocoon around their body, which keep them inside in how many days? 2 or 3 days. Then the next process, processing of cocoon to obtain silk fiber. Then what we do after obtaining the cocoon to obtain the silk fiber? All the cocoons are collected at one place. The pile of cocoon is used for obtaining silk fiber. This is done as follow. Now see what the step. The pile of cocoon is placed in a hot water. They collect all the cocoons and place it inside the hot water. Hot water makes the silk fiber of cocoon to separate out, and the silk fiber are separated out from cocoons. The long silk fiber are obtained by unwinding the threads from cocoon, and the silk fiber are obtained by unwinding the thread from cocoons. The process of taking out silk fiber from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling, and the process by which we taken out the thread, you can say silk thread, from the cocoon is known as reeling. Reeling is done in a special machine which unwind the fiber of silk from cocoon, which means separate the fiber from the cocoons. This is all for today, class 7. Please go through this explanation, then you able to understand what I have taught you. So please do a thorough revision for today explanation, otherwise you are not able to understand this chapter. Have a nice day. Bye bye.